Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raise Awareness of Coaching and Education. Here we are, meet again. Welcome to all of you around the world. With me today, yet another wonderful guest, speaker, coach, and I'll give her the chance in a minute to introduce herself. What we do here at Raise is our contribution to coaching, raising the awareness. We do believe coaching is absolutely a beneficial and helpful tool. We have benefited from that personally. And this is why we're here, try to share with you, hopefully, a few tips by the end of this conversation, this series that we call Coaching Can Help. Dorothy, thank you so very much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jacob. It's such a pleasure.
Absolutely a pleasure. Right. Oh, that's
And Siri decided to join the conversation as well. Go
very,
figure.
very welcome. Very welcome. Yeah. So, Dorothy, how about you start telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So first of all, the accent is Politalian. I'm actually born Polish, and there's a little bit of Italian probably in there as well, and then obviously a Canadian accent. So for those that don't know me, I often get asked, "What's that sound?" That's my accent. I am an empowerment coach and the founder of my company, Inspired by Choice. So I like to tell people that I am in the business of inspiration. And I help individuals, whether they are professionals or otherwise, male or female, who might be struggling with some challenges around fears that are inside of their mind, and they want to replace those fears with inspiration and go for something new in their lives.
Lovely.
And that's like the 30-second.
Lovely. Yeah, so we are quite international, and it's always brilliant to connect with people, and then you really find that, oh, behind them this beautiful, history of being international, either born here or there, and then they lived in different places. So I think it's just adding beauty. So so welcome again. Um, Dorothy, sometimes I start with my, guest speakers, asking them, how do they personally, before professionally, how do they personally define coaching? Let's start with that.
Oh, I don't know if I can separate the personal from the professional. I think once I figured out what coaching really is, there's only one definition for me, and it's standard across everything.
Right.
Coaching is the ability to guide somebody to finding the truths that are sitting within them, that are in alignment for them around a specific topic, around a specific desire at that time, and bringing those out forward so that that individual can shine as the best version of themselves. But it's something that comes from within. Coaching guides us to truths that are internal versus guiding people towards information and advice that is external.
That's beautiful. The best, I think the best motivation, and this is definitely the core of coaching, that comes from within. So absolutely, I do absolutely agree with that. So, and for you, back to personally, how did you get to be introduced, let's say, to the world of coaching?
So I had many leadership roles and mentorship type roles in my corporate life before I became a coach full time. I actually spent 20 years in corporate Canada across sales and marketing roles. And a part of what I would do would be capability development, as well as mentoring young talent and encouraging even peers to show up as the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
So I used to call myself coach even in that capacity, when I would put on that capability development hat. And some people would actually lovingly refer to me as coach in the business space as well. And
Yeah.
when I had this opportunity to make a shift out of corporate and into something completely different, I started with doing a certification program to
Yeah.
make sure that I actually had the foundational skill set necessary to do the work I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And as part of that, which was with Health Coach Institute out of the US, as part of that, you get to learn the skill set by taking on the role as coach and coachee around every single topic that you learn and you master. So I would say my first real true exposure to masterful coaching was in that program, working with some incredible coaches.
So you mentioned being certified. What's your take on, so we know, there are a lot of, probably, I wouldn't say debate or discussion, but there are a lot of coaches who are not yet certified. And then there are those who actually get the certifications, the accreditations and so on. What's your take on it?
I recommend getting certified. Like I said, when I was in the corporate world, I thought I had a very good grasp on what coaching is. And I certainly did have an innate talent for it. But it wasn't until I went through the certification process that I realized how many additional tools and skills I had the opportunity to develop to make me really exceptional in this work. And when I give mentorship advice or counseling advice to anybody else interested in this field, I always recommend not only doing the certification.
Yeah.
Some schools have now become more lax than others in terms of how they not police, how in terms of how they monitor whether the student training hours have actually been done. So
Yeah.
it's more on an honor-based system. And I would suggest to any coach looking to get into this space and become masterful at what they do, don't cheat yourself out of those hours.
Yeah.
Don't skip either role. You will experience a new level of understanding of the human psyche of yourself and of
Yeah.
your clients, both.
I think we have, oh, we still got Dorothy here.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think that's technology, so that's okay. You are back, I think, online. Yeah.
So, bottom line, I recommend it very strongly. Do it and do it right and do the recommended coursework. You will get tons out of the experience of being both coach and coachee. And your future clients will certainly benefit from that experience.
Yeah, I think we are trying, as coaches, we're trying to really emphasize the importance of being accredited, certified, and definitely there, coaching is a profession that you mentioned, policing or governing of coaches. So definitely this is something we second, we emphasize, being accredited and that continuous training and development of oneself, a
Mhm.
coach in this case. So coaching can help, Dorothy.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's start with you personally. Coaching
Yeah.
can help. How has it helped you?
I like to tell people I was on a journey of personal transformation a solid decade before I made the transition into becoming a coach full time.
Yeah.
And the 9 years that I spent in the self directed, do it yourself self development, and the 1 year of focused work with coaches during my certification program, the
Yeah.
exponential growth and the person that I became in that 1 year by far surpassed the 9 years of self directed effort. So that's just starting out. That's my table stakes. What I also love to share with people, and I hope this message gets out, not just from myself.
Yeah.
We're in a culture, or maybe humanity has come into this habit that we love to give advice. We love to share advice,
True.
observe what's going on and say, oh, you know what you should do? You should do this and that. And anybody who's experienced coaching
Mm.
and has any training in coaching will recognize that until a person is ready to receive advice, they
Yes.
will reject that advice or
Yes.
straight up not hear the advice
True.
until a person is guided to a space where they feel in alignment
Yeah.
to discovering that advice for themselves. And that is something that coaching helps with.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say and what you offer. That person is not ready or doesn't feel safe within their own mind to be receptive to that. So that's being a parent, being a spouse, being an employer, being a team leader. In any of those roles, coaching helps if you're able to use more of a questioning attitude, speak less, lean
Yeah.
in and ask more, find out what's really happening with the other person, and then let them tell you where they're at and what they're ready for, instead of assuming that we know and trying to force or impose our ideas of what would work for them on somebody else.
Yeah, this is an interesting concept. Giving advice, even though, sometimes we do it out of that, let's say, compassion or, showing sympathy to help. But
Yeah,
you're right, the other person won't accept it unless they're ready to.
yeah.
And in coaching, yeah, we do recommend and emphasize that. What is the reason, do you think, that we don't accept advice or help until we are ready to? Therefore, coaching can help.
Well, I think there's a few of them.
Yeah.
One simple one is, what you're saying is interesting, but it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't resonate with me yet. So that might be true for a whole bunch of other people, but that's not my experience. That's not my story. I don't relate to it. So I can't receive it if I don't relate to it. I haven't internalized it yet. Now, you looking at me, you have a perspective I don't have,
Yeah.
right? But I don't see that. And if I don't see that, then I'm not ready. And then I had another one, but I forgot it. Maybe it'll come back to me as we keep talking.
They will. And I think there is the fact that we try to personalize, to make things tailored to the other person in coaching industries, the coachee, and in education as well. We talk as well a lot about how schools, education systems work, and corporate as well can benefit from having things sometimes tailored and personalized to the individual as much as possible. I know it's challenging sometimes, but yeah, we might
Yeah.
think of something as, oh, this is the best solution, but then yeah, it's the best solution for you doesn't make it the best solution
Yeah.
for me.
And,
Mm.
and you reminded me on what my other point was.
Uh,
Nobody likes to be told what to do.
I like it.
Nobody. That it is human response, natural response to reject being told what to do, even
Yeah.
if it's our best interest. You really should read that book. You really should watch that. Should I?
Should
Yeah, I
I?
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so that's you've told us and shared with us about how coaching can help, or how coaching has helped you personally. Is that related to your professional career and path, or there's something else coaching has helped you with professionally?
Um, I mean, honestly, it has helped me. It's helped me in every facet of my life.
Yeah.
To I'm incapable now of going into a situation and being the first to speak,
Okay.
whether it's personal or professional. I go in and I start asking questions. I want to hear. I want to understand more.
Yeah.
I will never again speak without understanding.
Yeah.
So that's helped personally and professionally. Honestly, Jacob, it's so intertwined. And for myself specifically, finding this path and doing this work has revealed for me that I truly am a coach through the fiber of my being. It is not a profession, it is
Yeah.
who I was made to be.
Right.
So it's very hard in my case to separate out what has it done for you personally, what has it done for you professionally.
Yeah.
I love sitting down and being a coach over a coffee with a friend as much as I do
Yeah.
in a professional setting with a client, in a corporate setting. It's just it's become who I am through and through.
It coaching does transform you and us as coaches and coachees, which is absolutely true. Um, Keeping in mind, Dorothy, so keeping in mind confidentiality, any inspiring stories you could share from the world of coaching?
Well, so I have to go on record to say every single client story is inspiring because I'm in empowerment. So when
Yeah.
you take a person and they were disempowered and all of a sudden they feel their power, they find their power and they start acting from a
Yeah.
place of power and inspiration,
Yeah.
every story is inspiring and every client will blow my mind with what they do and what they're capable of. That said, you never forget your first.
Okay.
So the one that I'm going to share is going to be the one of my first two when I was just launching into this space, and it was somebody who was helping me out around the house.
Yeah.
And this individual brought so much love and care into the work that they were doing with housekeeping chores on my home. And I
Yeah.
said to her, "You are so fantastic and so amazing. This is
Yeah.
not the space for you. Like, this cannot be it for you. I'm going to miss you. I'd hate to lose you, but you are so much more than this." And she said to me at the time, I don't think so, Dorothy. Like, that's lovely, but who am I? Like, I can't imagine having a career and I have learning challenges and I'm not a very good student. And I'm at this point in my life and to go back to school and to do all of this, I think I missed the boat on this. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, well, I'm just stepping into this coaching space and I need a couple of practice clients. Would you care to be one? And she says, oh, okay, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And fast forward a couple of years, this
Yeah.
woman put herself through school into a new profession. Not only did she overcome her perception of her accessibility challenges, she actually made the honor roll,
Yeah.
has left my housekeeping job ages ago, and is now pursuing a much more fitted career, empowered career, where she's actually helping hundreds of people every day and being paid great money for it.
Yeah.
And that story warms my heart every single time.
It's quite rewarding as well.
Yes, very.
Yeah. Um, you might have, I'd assume, excuse me for that, but
Your
for that,
excuse.
yeah. So when you meet someone who is not really willing to even hear what coaching is, how do you deal with that?
Um, I often let them be. I
Right.
let them be. There is a lot of people, and we're going back to this idea of not everyone is ready for certain adventures and for certain ideas. They're not there yet. They haven't internalized it.
Yeah.
And I've discovered that trying to force someone to see a perspective or see a concept the way we see it
Yeah.
is it's a fruitless task. It really does take two to tango. It takes two to have a meaningful conversation and get anywhere. And you get to notice that very, very quickly. You
Yeah.
say, I am in coaching, I do coaching, I'm an empowerment coach or whatever type of coach, and you're
Yeah.
usually met with oh or ah, and then the eyes dart to a different direction, and then they change the subject, or they just look at the bottom of their shoe, or they get extremely uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
honestly, my perspective, unless they have follow-up questions, and I might ask, do you have any questions, would you like to hear more, I let them off the hook.
Yeah.
This feels like an uncomfortable space for a lot of individuals. And I have to say, if we have time, and we probably don't, that mainstream media does absolutely nothing to help us in raising awareness of how coaching can help. Because if you look at how coaches are portrayed in mainstream media,
Mhm.
it is psycho moms, like in the show Mom, who's an alcoholic and has absolutely no experience with this. I've
Yeah.
actually seen in a murder mystery show where the coach, motivational speaker, ended up being, spoiler alert, I don't remember which show it was, but he was the serial killer.
Wow.
And there's just countless examples in mainstream media that this idea is planted, that these coaches, this is all a hoax, that we're just these phony, money grabbing, unskilled, untrained mavericks who just want to cheat you out of something and promise you something impossible and then run off with your money. Thank goodness for Ted Lasso. But Ted Lasso on its own cannot counterbalance everything else that's out there. And that's Dorothy's soapbox piece on coaching
Okay.
and media.
Well, I think this is quite interesting because it is related to, let's say, part of the I wouldn't call it a fight. Let's say the struggle to show the world that there are certified and accredited coaches. And I think part of the challenges we face in the industry, it's as you have just said it, that other image that no, I'm not getting anywhere near coaching because the conception is coaching is such and such. And hopefully by sharing these, it's a little bit, but I think every little helps, these live talks, showing what coaching really is, and hopefully that will make a little bit difference.
I hope so too. And we have to have conversations like this across different channels for sure. And
Yeah.
that's one of the main misperceptions that I've observed from the people that don't want to hear more, is
Mm.
they actually believe that coaching is someone coming in, telling you what you're doing wrong,
Yeah.
telling you you should be doing something you don't want to do. And if
Yeah.
you don't do what the coach told you, you're a failure.
Yeah.
That it violates absolutely almost every basic rule of how coaching works, but that's the perception out there.
Yeah, and I think another challenge, in education, I know that sometimes, I think it's in education as well as corporate, they might bring a coach on board, and then that coach works with individuals who are struggling one way or another. Um, and then right after those coaching sessions, have ended, those people either get fired, get in trouble, of some sort. So now people are connecting coaching is just another way to get us in trouble. What do you think?
That's just, oh, it breaks my heart. That is so horrible, honestly, because what are we if not the one safe space
Yeah,
where you should feel safe to explore
yeah,
and grow and transform without repercussion, without negative repercussion.
yeah,
Um, so, for those perceptions to exist, and if that is in fact true, and this ends up being in some way tied to the coaching, I what a hit to our industry. That is not what we're about.
yeah, unfortunately. Well, Uzma, thank you very much for your comment. And she's thanking you as well, Dorothy. That yeah. So yeah. For all our audience, always feel free to share, comment, questions. We've got Dorothy with us here. So Dorothy, we are approaching the end of our talk, and as we, try to really keep it to the minimum, hopefully, you know, a a small bite that the audience can enjoy and benefit from, but they definitely can reach out to you later on. Um, any final words, I'd say?
Well, I would say your life is your own. How you choose to experience it is a choice. It is always a choice, whether we take action or don't take action, what we believe, what we follow. These are all choices that we can make, and we'll make them consciously or we'll make them unconsciously. I recommend you make the inspired choice and you make it consciously. And if that's hard, go get yourself a great coach to help you learn how to do it.
Beautiful. One little more thing: choices, right or wrong?
Right or wrong, there is no such thing. There is only the best choice that you can make for yourself in this moment with the information that was available to you at this time. The only wrong choice that we can ever make is the one that goes directly against our intuition. Intuition never lies. If you want to make sure that your choice is good, go with your intuition instead of against it.
Yeah, and that's the gut feeling. Well,
Yeah.
Dorothy, thank you very much. You know, really beautiful, inspiring conversation. We could go like this for, I wouldn't say forever, but for a longer time. And we definitely will be happy to have you over and over in this platform, in other platforms, and one day, hopefully, in person as well. We can take this from the screen to
And
the
take both of our wranglers there.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be our next series of live talks. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for watching, either watching now, on those who will be watching later on, because we do have a lot of audience around the world catching up with all our busy schedule. But thank you anyways, and Dorothy, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Jacob.